Hi guys, look where I'm sitting. In my chair. Oh, I'm in the classroom and I'm looking at a bunch of empty desks. Well, actually I'm looking at a bunch of desks that have a bunch of stuff on them because I'm kind of cleaning out a little bit while I'm up here at school. But I wanted to talk to you about our reading focus for this week. In social studies, we are studying about the westward expansion, and I thought that it would be very interesting for us to talk about some of the literature of that time. And it's very interesting that not a lot of literature is written that's like historical fiction about this time, but it's actually narratives that were actually written by the people who actually experienced this. And I'm going to share with you throughout the week some different types of literature. And one of the first ones I want to share with you is it's actually a letter that was written by a young woman whose name was Cordelia. And she was writing to her friend about her plans to become a pioneer, which was a common ambition during this whole Manifest Destiny time, the era of the Western settlement in the 19th century. And so I'm going to read this letter to you. This is the first of our literature examples. This letter writing thing, I guess, doesn't translate to our time quite as much as probably text messages do and emails, but this was the way that people communicated a lot back during this time period in America's history. So here's the letter. Dear Emily, this is farewell, dear friend. My family and I set out tomorrow, out past the horizon to see what waits for us in the West. Will there be gold? Will there be trouble? Will there be some place we can call home? Truly, I am terrified. But I know it is the will of President Polk, and for God, for us to spread as far as we can. So we will follow that setting sun to our destiny. We are going into territory that no one has gone before. I don't just mean the well you and I explored when we were young, dear Emily. No colonists have set foot on the path that we're about to take. A pioneer, after all, is someone who explores a country for the very first time. I know that there were Indians already living there. Some people try and kill every Indian they see, but you know me. I'm a woman of God. They have blood flowing through their veins just like any other person. That blood can be blessed. I'm a missionary, and it is my goal to bring anyone I can into the light of Christianity. I've seen the Indians with their wives and their children. They seem like they're good. They can be good people. They are good hunters for sure, better than my husband even. But don't tell him I said that. I know in my heart that these Indians deserve God's forgiveness like the rest of us. Please keep me in your prayers as my husband Sarah and I set out into the darkness. I have faith in Manifest Destiny that the pioneers were meant to bring the light of civilization to this land. As missionaries, my husband and I will bring the word of God to everyone if they will have us. Really, Emily, I would have no confidence in myself were it not for God's guiding hand. I know that this is His goal to bring the pioneers to the far sea. But to tell you the truth, I am afraid. I'll write you often and let you know if God's work is unfolding. Love, Cordelia. So you can see here in a letter, these are personal comments between friends, one friend writing to another. And this type of literature, as we study it, we can tell a lot about the character, the person who is writing the letter, because they are putting their feelings into the letter. And you can tell that she is very religious. You can tell that she is a little afraid, because she says that to her friend. And you can tell that she has kind of a little sense of humor, too, because she makes that comment about her husband not being as good a hunter. And please don't tell him that. You know, so you can tell a little bit about personality. Usually when you read letters, you can tell something about the personality or the character of the person who's writing it. We don't know a whole lot about the person who's reading it because we just have the benefit of just having the writer's point of view. Sorry, I'm having to prop up this so it won't fall over and you can see me a little more. Okay, all right, the second part of this first reading is something a little bit different. It is a book that will give you a little more practical knowledge about this westward expansion time period in America. It's a rather interesting book. You know, I'm a foodie. I like lots of different kinds of food. And this book is called Food and Recipes of the Westward Expansion. It's from a series called Cooking Throughout American History. It's by George Erdosh. And I thought it was a very interesting book, and it helps you learn about the westward expansion from sort of a different point of view. We're going to take it from the point of view of a little boy named Edward, who's 10 years old. Edward was 10 years old in 1850. Like thousands of other people at that time, Edward's family were pioneers. They were headed for an area of land in what is now Oregon, on the west coast of North America. Many pioneers were looking for cheap, fertile land on which to farm or raise cattle, but other pioneers were in search of adventure. They wanted to explore lands that were new to everyone but the Native Americans who already lived there. And you can see here, this is a painting of a wagon train moving west. The pioneers were the first settlers to travel west. The journey from Missouri to California took between 4 and 6 months.